What's up guys, Creighton here from LogicLounge.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at and comparing the brand new Roku 3 to the Apple TV. So let's start off by looking at the physicals. We'll look at the Roku 3 first off. As you can see, it's a fairly small device, which is great. You can fit it in the palm of your hand, fits really anywhere around your TV in a small secluded spot so that you can still use it without being too cumbersome. But let's take a look at the ports, because that's all that really matters when you're looking at these small devices. On the back, you have 4 different ports. You have a power port, you have the Ethernet port, you have the full-size HDMI port, and then you have a micro SD card slot that allows you to expand the storage of this so you can add more content, have more local content ready to go. Included also is a USB port as well, so you can plug in some external media like a USB stick or an external hard drive with movies loaded on it and access those directly from the Roku 3. So I find that as a great thing for the Roku 3 to have, because it has a lot of storage capabilities and it has a lot of expandability. But let's take a look at the Apple TV. This is the 3rd generation of the Apple TV, so it's one of the latest. Even the latest one is not, too off from what this one is. So it's pretty small. It's a little bit bigger compared to the Roku 3, but it's still pretty damn small, and it can fit in any really secluded spot. Now, when you're looking around the device, all your ports are really on the back, and there's really not a lot of them. You have your standard power port as well. You have a full-size HDMI port. You have a USB port, a optical audio out, and a Ethernet port. But the thing is, that USB port is only there for doing minor maintenance. You can't really expand anything out with it. So really you're limited to power, HDMI, and Ethernet with the option for optical audio out. So it's limited to ports. You can't really expand the size. It really doesn't have any local content. It all relies on an internet connection or local remote content to serve it. So that's one of the big differences there, is that you can have local content on the Roku 3, whereas on the Apple TV, everything has to be remote. So if you're one of those people who may not know a lot about networking and don't really know how to get remote local content onto your Apple TV, well, then the Roku 3 will be for you, because all you need to do is copy it to a USB stick, plug it in, and, well, it's good to go. And it plays most video formats. So there's another upside there for you, is that it plays a lot of video formats, whereas the Apple TV is really limited to whatever iTunes can handle, and iTunes can only handle maybe like MOVs and MP4s on the limited side. So it does have a limiting factor there. So their physicals are very different. If you're looking for something more in the iOS sphere and you like streaming a lot of things and you really aren't going to be worrying about local content, the Apple TV is great. But if you like your local content, you want storage for local content, well, then the Roku 3 will be for you. Let's move on and look at these user interfaces, starting up with the Apple TV. So here we are with the Apple TV. It comes with this handy-dandy little remote that is very thin and very light and has a couple simple buttons and a very simple user interface. It has all of your top movie recommendations up at the top for people who like to rent movies. And then you can go down and look at TV shows as well, and it'll show you the top TV shows, even music, and you can even access your computers via this. But you're limited to only computers with iTunes installed on them and authorized to your account. So it has another limiting factor there, that the content that you can serve to the Apple TV is only content that you can have on iTunes, which for some people, well, that may not be the case. But on the lighter side, it does have streaming services. It has Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube, which are the big 3, I consider, which is nice. It also has some sports channels with MLB, the NBA. You can even get podcasts on there as well and view the Wall Street Journal's live feeds, and there's a couple radio channels on there as well. But that's all you're limited to. That's not a lot of choice. Well, you do get a lot of choice if you're going to go into movies, and they have a very generous range of movies that are relatively cheap. You can either buy them or stream them in HD or SD, and you can do streaming or renting or whatever have you. And it's a nice interface for people who do like, on the majority side, like to watch or stream their movies. As you can see here, I pulled up a fairly popular movie, Argo. You can see here you can preview it, rent it for $4, or actually $4.99, buy it in HD for $20, add it to a wish list, or you even have more with recommendations on the bottom. It's a very simple user interface, very easy to handle, nothing too complicated about it. But there's this thing with Apple people where you really spend a little bit more money when you have Apple products. So if you're into spending a little bit more money, well, then the Apple TV is great. You can stream content, you can do all of this fun stuff, and, you know, have at it. If you do have an Mac, you can actually use your Apple TV with AirPlay. So you can mirror your Mac screen to the Apple TV, which is great, because if you wanted to stream a movie, you could stream a movie on your Mac, and it could play over here. So that kind of gets around the barrier of only being able to play certain files, although you do have to have a Mac, so you're limited there. But I'm mostly a Netflix guy, so that's why I got the Apple TV in the first place. It had Netflix, it was simple, it was something I could afford. It's $99 as well, same as the Roku 3. And, well, it gets the job done for me, so it kind of depends on what you're looking at. But you do have a more restrictive interface here over the Roku 3. So now let's go check out the Roku 3's user interface. So here we are with the Roku 3's interface. It's fairly simple and comes with this big remote. This big remote had a lot of features built into it. It can even be used as a game controller. It has sensors and transmogrifiers and, well, a headphone port, volume controls, tons of buttons, rather than the Apple TV remote, which has a couple simple buttons, but you have a lot more on the Roku 3. You can see here I have a selection of channels that I have preloaded onto my Roku, such as Netflix, Amazon Streaming, Hulu, the Wall Street Journal, Facebook, and I even have a game on there. That's right, I have a game on my Roku. Can your Apple TV do that? No, it can't. So, looking around here, it does have a nice user interface, definitely different from the Apple TV, but it has something that the Apple TV doesn't have, and that is a channel store. It has hundreds of channels that you can pick from games to top TV networks to your local cable providers to audio streaming services. It has tons of channels, both free and paid. So you're not limited there, where a lot of Apple's content on the Apple TV is paid only. Well, the Roku has a lot of free stuff. As you can see here, Time Warner Cable has an application that allows you to get all of your streaming stuff from Time Warner Cable just by downloading the app and adding it to. You have gaming networks, you have popular music streaming services, you have Pandora, Amazon, you have games as well. There's a lot of stuff in here that, well, the Apple TV doesn't have. Now, these paid applications are pretty good, I won't lie. There's even Jeopardy, there's InstaWatch browser for Netflix, there's modifications, there's tons of stuff that you can download. And what's great about it is that Roku has a strong developer community out there, and it's relatively cheap as well to get into. So you're not having to pay outlandish prices like you are for the Apple TV just to develop on the platform. And, well, that's an A+ in my books. You have, again, like I said, hundreds of channels to pick from. You can't go wrong when you're trying to find content out there, which is great because I'm a guy who loves to take in tons of content. It's relatively fast. The user interface is relatively simple to navigate. You have searching features. This remote is pretty simple to navigate as well. You do have feedback on the remote, so when you press a button, you know that it's pressed. You have games. It's definitely an entertainment machine that, well, I don't think the Apple TV really lives up to, especially when you're looking at this user interface and all those features that you have. So, which one should you get? Well, I'll leave that to our conclusion. So, which one of these should you get? Well, it really depends on what you want. The Apple TV is great because I'm already vested in the iOS platforms. I have iPads, iPhones, Macs, and I'm invested in the iTunes Store, which is great. So I have everything already interconnected. And I can use the AirPlay service to stream movies to it via my computer. So there's not really a hassle there. You are limited to content, but for me, I usually only really watch Netflix, and the Apple TV has a great Netflix application that just works. Everything on the Apple TV just works. It's nice and smoothly. It's a simple remote control, so I'm not struggling to find which buttons are which when it's completely dark and I just want to watch something. Whereas, well, the Roku TV, if you're someone who likes to consume content, lots and lots of content, you like choices, you like to really grasp what your device can do, well, the Roku 3 is perfect for that because you have hundreds of channels. Like I said, developers can freely develop on the platform. It's very simple to do. They're both really the same cost, but with the Roku 3, I think you get a little bit more out of it, especially with the number of channels that you get, expansion slots like USB ports and micro SD cards. The controller allows you to play games. It has accelerometers in it. It's a more fulfilling device. And at $99, the one I would pick is the Roku 3. You get more out of it over the Apple TV. But then again, it's up to user choice. And, well, I think I'm going to be staying with the Roku 3. It's definitely a well worth it device for everything that you get over the Apple TV. Now, you could get into jailbreaking and all that stuff, but not every user knows how to do that or wants to do that. The raw, out-of-the-box power has to go to the Roku 3, and that is my choice if I were to recommend something like that. Now, if you'd like to buy, well, any of these devices, links will be down below. I believe lgic.co/Roku3 for the Roku 3, and lgic.co/Apple TV will be available for the Apple TV, which will redirect you to the lowest price Apple TV that we can find on the market. So, for $99, the Roku 3 is definitely something that you should be investing in. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Creighton Miller. You can follow us on our social media profiles, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all under the username of LogicLounge. If you have any questions for me, email me, Creighton@LogicLounge.com. I hope you enjoyed our comparison between the Apple TV and the Roku 3. Be sure to like and share this video. It always helps us. And, well, until our next video, we'll see you guys tomorrow.